You laid out a reason why you think the Biden administration has led America down a path that you don't like. Why do you think voters didn't accept that premise in 2022? They clearly didn't in the battleground states. Why do you think that was?
Well, they did in many states around the country. It's in the state of New York, 4 new Republican congressmen elected. May well be the margin of the majority itself. In the state of Iowa, for the first time in a half a century, they'll have all Republican members of the House of Representatives. But Chuck, I take your point. I mean, a win is a win. I'm glad to see Kevin McCarthy will accept the gavel to be the next Speaker of the House. But I'd like to see more Republicans elected, and I'd like to see Republicans win the Senate and more governorships around the country. But for me, the common denominator had to do with whether or not candidates were focused on the future. As I traveled around the country...
It sounds like that's code for whether or not candidates were sort of in the Trump spout.
Well,
I mean, I think you're trying to be polite. I understand that. But it does seem as what you're saying is anybody that was close to Trump didn't do well.
But I think it's broader than that, Chuck. For me, as I traveled, and I went to 35 states in the last year and a half, campaigning for all kinds of men and women, running for statewide office and for the House and the Senate. And as I sort through the results, there really is a common denominator. Candidates that were focused on the issues that people are facing today and solutions for tomorrow, focused on the future, did quite well. But candidates that were focused on the past, candidates that were focused on relitigating the 2020 election did not fare as well. And we had some surprising and disappointing results. And so I think, as I said when I was campaigning for Governor Brian Kemp in a primary that he won decisively, it was in many ways divided along this very question last spring. I said that if Georgia voters voted strongly to renominate Governor Brian Kemp, they could send a deafening message that the Republican Party is the party of the future. And they did that. And Governor Kemp went up against probably the most formidable Democrat candidate in the country and won a decisive re-election because, again, he stayed focused, as so many of our candidates did, on the challenges today and the focus on tomorrow.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.